Food is all around us. It's no longer just in our kitchens and restaurants. It's on our phones, Instagram, YouTube. We use food as a reason to get together, celebrate, and experience. No matter if that experience is in your home or in a different city. I am your host, Scott Scher, and I'm here to talk about your favorite food and the people behind them. This is the I'd Eat That podcast.
Really like to experiment with different shapes and cooking vessels to see how it could impact the end product.
Hello, thank you for joining me today on the I'd Eat That podcast. Today I interviewed James and Izzie Ford from Maize and Honey. They publish recipes and videos onto their website. Let's go ahead and learn more about what they do and how we can start creating our own delicious ingredients from Maize and Honey. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us for the I'd Eat That podcast. It's a pleasure to introduce James and Izzie Ford from MaizeandHoney.com. If you haven't checked it out yet, they were recently featured in the Voyage Dallas website, so go ahead and read that article. But James and Izzie, how are you two doing today?
We're doing great. How are you doing?
Did you cook up anything this past weekend?
Actually, we did. We kind of faced off with some shrimp, and I made a coconut shrimp with a yellow curry sauce, and I'll let James talk about what he made.
I made a Cajun shrimp with a pasta salad. We used spices that we know and work with, chupacabra rub.
That sounds really good. How did you guys get started with publishing your own recipes online?
We were looking for a fun way to collect, share, and explore kind of all aspects of the food experience, from how it's grown, how it's harvested, how we consume it, and our historical relationship with food.
And what's your historical relationship with food?
I'm really interested, especially in food waste. So food items that might have been indigenous to one place or culture. For example, we could say corn, how once these foodways were established and corn found its way into the old world, how these other cultures were able to adopt that ingredient and make it their own as well.
What are your culinary backgrounds?
We're mostly home taught. James has experience cooking from restaurants, and I took culinary classes, but far and wide, we're home taught.
And how long have you been recording your recipes online?
We started Maize and Honey in January of this year, but our first post online was towards the end of March. So we've been recording and going online for about 6 months now. And then after that, we expanded to Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube and all that.
Nice. And how's been the reaction from your followers so far?
It took a little bit to get started because we were still figuring it out. But there are moments where it just kind of takes off and it's almost overwhelming how much impact little things can have.
That's great. And great job with your guys' success so far.
Oh, thank you so much.
Absolutely. What's been some of your favorite recipes that you've posted?
We recently posted my sweet pie dough recipe, which is a very versatile recipe. I call it one of my basics. You can use it for any sweet application. We also posted a pumpkin chocolate chip cookie and pumpkin chocolate chip muffin made with fresh roasted pumpkin puree.
Perfect. Are you able to walk us through that recipe?
Sure. Which one would you like?
Pumpkin spiced muffin?
Sure. It's actually the same recipe for both the cookies and the muffins. I really like to experiment with different shapes and cooking vessels to see how it could impact the end product. It's a standard cookie recipe. You start with 2 1/4 cups of all-purpose flour, add in a teaspoon of baking soda, 2 teaspoons of your favorite pumpkin pie spice, either homemade or store-bought, and a teaspoon of salt. Mix that all together in a bowl and set it aside. In another bowl, you'll add 1 cup of softened butter, 3/4 cups of dark brown sugar. You can also use light brown sugar. I just really love the complexity of dark brown sugar. To that, you'll add a 1/4 cup of granulated sugar and cream that all together. Add in 1 cup of pumpkin puree, 1 egg, 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract, and mix that together. Add in all your dry ingredients, and once everything is well incorporated, add 2 cups of mini semi-sweet chocolate chip cookies. Once everything is combined, I use a half-ounce cookie scoop to keep everything kind of uniform and looking nice, or you can scoop it into your muffin tin and cook it in an oven for 10-15 minutes at 375 degrees Fahrenheit.
Nice. I can't wait to try that one.
We hope you like it.
I'm sure I will. And it's perfect time for it, too. Now the weather's getting a little bit cooler. It's kind of starting to get towards pumpkin season now.
Absolutely. I was so excited when we walked into the grocery store and saw all the pumpkins. That was really the inspiration. I just looked at James and said, we have to get a pumpkin.
Nice. What recipes do you have coming out?
I have a couple coming up. I'm working on different ways to cook and smoke brisket, whether it be the whole brisket or just the flat. Here next month, I want to do a whole lamb leg, which I'm still doing the research and how I want to do the spices on that. Every year, I do a smoked turkey for Thanksgiving, so I thought that'd be a great thing to share. Izzy's got a couple things coming up as well.
Hispanic Heritage Month just started, and I have a few Mexican dishes I grew up eating planned to post, including chiles rellenos, tamales, and pozole.
Nice. I can't wait to see those recipes come out. James, are you is your background mostly in barbecuing and meats?
No, I worked in kitchens growing up, the teenage jobs. But I think I've spent the last 10 years refining my skills in the barbecue. I love it, but I wouldn't say it's what I do the most. It just has been lately.
His soups are phenomenal.
What's phenomenal?
His soups. He makes some really, really delicious soups. We have a pea soup posted, and it was absolutely delicious.
Oh, yeah? Sounds like between the two of you, you guys really have a very diverse range of dishes that you guys are capable of making.
Yes, I love to cook vegetarian meals just as much as I do on the barbecue. I grew up eating all fresh fruits and vegetables all the time, and we pass that on to our daughter as well. We try to learn how to cook as much healthy meals as possible because it's about the balance. Rich foods, healthy foods. You can't have just one of them. You have to have it all.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's really important to learn, especially at a young age. And Izzy, are you kind of more on like the baking side?
While I like to cook other things and experiment in other kind of applications, I do have to say that my heart really is with baking. There's just something about the procedure and kind of the ritual of it all that's really relaxing. And at the end you get something really delicious, so it's always worth it.
Nice. I've never been much of a baker myself. Just like you mentioned, it's kind of regimented and calculated. I kind of like being creative and kind of going crazy with different spices and, guesstimating on measurements. But I have a lot of respect for those that can do baking well.
Thank you.
That's how I am. It kind of frustrates her a little bit because I don't do baking because I kind of just throw stuff together. And I kind of taste it and tweak the recipe a little bit. I might do a recipe 4 times before I find the right spice combination. We like to play a game. Whatever's in the refrigerator is what's for dinner. So you figure out what you can put together with what you have.
That's a fun game to play.
Yeah.
What type of recipes are more popular to your followers?
I would honestly have to say all things barbecue and all things cookies and cupcakes.
Okay.
They're probably number one. Then you have the niche posts. There are a lot of people, they love different things, and we try to appeal to everybody. We don't want to single anything out. We want to, our whole motto is to unite the world through food. So we want to try a little bit of everything, and that's our biggest thing right now is going through and seeing what really hit our followers. We go back through and we look at the insights and see who responded to what.
Interaction with our community is really important. We recently started a new series called Plate to Plate, where we take suggestions and things that our followers or other pages and organizations have suggested to us. And it's been really fun getting to explore different cultures or different recipes and connect with somebody that way. It's been really fun to be able to use social media in that way.
What's been a dish that was recommended that's kind of a little bit out of your realm or from a different culture that you guys ended up posting about?
For me, I would have to say the gulab jamun, which I know I'm not pronouncing correctly, but it's something that I had tried before but had never took on before. And I was a little concerned with making sure that I could do it justice. And it all worked out. It was absolutely delicious. And it was an amazing experience to be able to appreciate a culture in that way.
Sure. What other cultures do you plan on doing dishes for?
We have Moroccan dishes. We have Japanese-style dishes, Cantonese, Chinese. There, as many countries as you can think of, that's how many we want to do. But we have Moroccan on the list coming up. We have Scottish coming up, a few Italian, another Swedish dish.
We have a notebook where whenever we have ideas or a country that we want to try something from, and we jot it down, and we've gone through Brazil, Morocco, as James said, Egypt, Australia, France, and Scotland as well.
Nice. That's really cool that you guys are trying to do as many different countries and origins of food. I think it would be really cool if you guys try to match it up with different holidays. Like I know Brazil, Carnival is pretty popular down there, but it's in February, so you guys still have a little bit of time with that. But
sometimes research. We definitely appreciate that suggestion.
Yeah, absolutely. Anything I could do to help.
That was the route we were hoping to go down, is start trying to find holidays, national days, start correlating with some of what everyone else is doing as well.
Yeah, I think it would be a great idea. What advice do you have for those that are looking to publish their own recipes?
The biggest thing I would have to say is, honestly, cook what you love to eat and have a lot of fun with it, and try not to get wrapped up in the metrics, seeing how many likes and everything that you can get out of it, and because it puts too much pressure on your project. Once you finally find what it is that you really love to do and really love to cook, it kind of just takes off from there. Your first video is not going to be the best. Your first anything's not going to be the best. So honestly, just do it and then keep trying.
Great advice. And you guys ready for our final four?
Yes, sir.
Perfect. What food city destination do you want to go to that you've never been to yet?
New Orleans and Tokyo are definitely at the top of our list.
Ooh, I definitely want to go to Tokyo. I love New Orleans, though. You guys aren't far from New Orleans.
Nope. Hoping to make a drive soon. Really, really hoping to get there and just immerse ourselves in the food culture.
What dishes are you looking forward to?
Beignets, chicory coffee, red beans and rice, gumbo.
All the local seafood, everything on the list.
When you're out at a restaurant, what dish is the hardest for you to pass up?
That one is really easy for me because if it's available, I literally have to try the cheese enchiladas at every available dish or every available place that it's at. I can't pass it up. I have to know, is it good? Is it great? Like, how's it made? That's always been something for me. I don't know why.
I'm sure there's some really good ones down in San Antonio.
Oh, yes, sir.
For me, I'd have to say anything breakfast. I could eat breakfast every single day, 3 times a meal, and not get tired of it.
Nice. Are there a lot of good breakfast/brunch spots in San Antonio?
Absolutely. And breakfast tacos down here are a religion, and I must say one that I definitely am a part of.
Any recommendations?
There are so many locally owned Mexican restaurants and taco stores called taquerias here in San Antonio.